focus. Mental health is a top priority for many, but especially our veterans. In many cases, it can be a matter of life or death.
This week, the CU College of Nursing is hosting the Partnerships for Veteran and Military Health Conference, an event focused on solutions to the mental health crisis.
And one of the speakers is filmmaker Jake Rademacher. He made 2009's Brothers at War about soldiers and Marines during the Iraq War. His latest film is called Brothers After War, and it follows those same men and women 15 years later. Take a look.
One of the hardest parts of being a warrior is coming home.
I was angry at everybody. They didn't understand what I understood.
Yeah, I was this close to taking my own life.
I invested so much of myself into the military that it was hard to let go.
I'm doing this documentary right now because I want to see how the guys that I embedded with years ago are doing, how they're really doing.
Chills.
Jake Rademacher is in studio with us this afternoon. Let's start with how you even got involved with telling these kind of stories. It's like a calling. How did you get here?
You know, that's a great question. My brothers came home from Fallujah, where they were with the 82nd Airborne, and they told me the truth wasn't making it home. So as a brother, that aggravated me, so I decided to do something about it. I took all the money I ever made as an actor. I started a production company, got permission from the DoD, and made my way to Iraq in 2005 and embedded in Isaac's long-range surveillance company for his third deployment.
Wow. And I know that you've been following, the same group of men and women. This new film is 15 years later. What has changed for these veterans 15 years post when they were in Iraq?
You know, it's interesting. Some of them, the corporals and captains, are now master sergeants, and in my brother's case, a two-time battalion commander. So obviously a lot more responsibility, a lot more deployments. We caught Joe at the end of his first deployment, right before he deployed a second time. He's now deployed 9 times. He's now a former special operator. And then some of the veterans have left the service. So, Jen, 5 years. Now she's got a doctorate in occupational therapy. Ben is debating whether he should leave the service or not on the Syrian border, ends up leaving as a business owner. Some of our veterans were struggling, and they talk about that struggle in the film, and others are thriving, but they've all had to navigate the difficulty of taking the uniform off and coming back and reintegrating into society.
Well, that's what I want to ask you, because you've seen so much being a filmmaker. You've immersed yourself into this world. From your perspective, why is it so difficult for service members to come back to, real life, if you will, or come back out of service and assimilate?
It's almost like, if you think about it from thousands of year perspective, real life is more like out there outside of America. It's kind of the Garden of Eden here. So you're going outside of America, you're going to war, you're experiencing things that are very raw, that are perspective shifting, changing your chemistry, and then you come back and less than 1% has experienced that. So when you come back, it's difficult to re-assimilate. You feel extreme camaraderie. You feel part of something bigger than yourself. And then you come back to America and you're not really sure what's important. People argue about things that aren't that important sometimes. The price of milk, cell phone bills. And so that creates a huge disconnect. On top of that, these experiences that are maybe traumatic, maybe you're told to stuff it in the box and put it away. Well, that's good in the moment when you're getting shot at, right? You're not supposed to, when you're getting shot, it's not the best time to talk about your feelings. However, what we found is that that's not the best way to actually process those experiences and turn post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth. You've got to journal about your experiences. You have to talk to others about it. If you get stuck, you should probably seek the help of a professional to kind of dig back into the past and throw some light on that experience and start to turn the corner on it. And I think sometimes veterans don't do that. And then that becomes a cycle, and they maybe choose alcohol or drugs or adrenaline seeking behavior, or they isolate themselves, and all those lead to bad outcomes.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we're talking about this. I'm so glad that you're highlighting these stories. If there's any veterans watching, family members of veterans, what are some of the resources out there that you have seen help people? Is there help for people coming back home to assimilate?
I mean, there's a ton of resources. The Gary Sinise Foundation sponsors all of our workshops, sponsored this film. They have 36 different programs for veterans. They're part of the Avalon Network. They have tons of resources. Even one of the, Marcus Institute for Brain Health for TBI is here in Denver. It's one of the premier places in the country. Part of the reason they invited me to this conference is, you know, all of us are sort of getting together from around the country to talk about some of the new resources, because there's a lot of different people that are attacking this problem from different angles. You know, mine is a storyteller. I feel like if you can, we ask you to see your story in the story of the 12 veterans on camera. And if you can do that, if you can identify, and if you can start talking about your experience, whether you're a Vietnam vet, whether you're a veteran from the war and terror, and then open up and talk to your family members, good things come from that dialogue. You start to process your experiences. You stop pushing people away and start pulling your family in towards you. And then you open yourself up to all kinds of the other healing modalities that are out there. There's a lot of great stuff. The VA, you know, sometimes people complain about the VA. I've heard you've been to one VA, you've been to one VA. Some are extraordinary, some are, you know, a little difficult, but there are some great resources out there. Sometimes vets have to keep pushing to get them, though.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing the work. Jake Rademacher, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.